Wow, it's been a month. Welcome back to keeping up with your Seattle Kraken, which we have kind of been doing. Um, the Seattle Kraken are 7-3-3 since we last recorded, and they still are injured. So I guess some things stay the same, so not much changes. Besides who's on IR, it is like musical chairs at this point. Of course, as always, Jade Miracle, Carl, for those who are listening and are not seeing my giant shiny head on your screen. If you're watching on YouTube, you are seeing that. There you go. If you're listening on the podcast, that's great, but you didn't get to see what I just did. So, yeah, it's been interesting to see this stretch of 13 games since we last recorded. You know, kind of wondering if Seattle was going to be able to keep up how they started, right? Um, and there are opinions on if it'll keep going. We will get to that in the latter part of the show, but there's a few things to go over, like the recent form. They won tonight in Chicago, scored 3 goals in the third period to beat the Chicago Bedard Donatos, um, which I, didn't think they had that in them with how the first 2 periods went. Um, they've got 2 more games on this road trip left. The Pittsburgh and New York Islanders stop, so they'll go to Long Island. They'll go to the house of the old man in Pittsburgh. We've got some injuries to update. Jared McCann, who is seemingly still on IR despite being out since the 8th, which is like 12 days ago. Well, I think actually pretty early in the month. Um, Matt Murray's out. We'll talk about that. Capo Caco. Um, by the in the time that we've taken to record this last episode, he has gone on IR, come back, and gone back on IR, which is very rough. I know Jade feels great about that.
Super cash money.
hmm So, yeah, well, lots of things to go over for your Kraken, who are second in the Pacific Division, fourth in the entire Western Conference, just as we all expected.
Right on schedule.
Um, Yeah, the recent form, and so when I say recent form, it's really since we last recorded, technically. Um, yeah, I mean, you look at this, they beat Chicago. Well, I guess I should go back to when we last recorded. The day after we recorded last episode, they beat Winnipeg in shutout fashion on the road. They beat the Oilers by a score of 3-2. They lose the overtime game to Montreal. Like God, these games feel like years ago.
Yeah, they do.
Lose in overtime to the Rangers, beat Chicago at home, lose very ugly to San Jose. I thought maybe things were getting bad there, with just how ugly that game looked. They somehow win in overtime in St. Louis. You lose by 1 in Dallas. Matt Murray plays really well. Um, excuse me. Uh, that was a Matt Murray game, I think. Yeah, because I think Phil was in the St. Louis game. I will double check this. Yes, okay. Sorry, I didn't want to be wrong. Losing the shootout to Columbus, that was a whole game with how Columbus was being held together by snot and electric tape, basically. Seattle
Fun
loses in the
vibes.
shootout and beat Winnipeg again. Come back and beat San Jose to finish out that homestand. Lose on the road in Detroit and beat Chicago tonight in dramatic fashion. I guess super basic because a lot's happened since then. And we'll talk about kind of if they can sustain this. I know Jade has an opinion on that. We will get to that. Um, just miracle because you're being threatened by your cat. We'll go to you first, I guess, just so maybe, Austin doesn't decide to attack you on camera.
No, he's
Um,
here now, so
how do you feel about the recent form of this team? What sticks out to you about, the last few weeks since we last recorded? Uh, don't get into if they can sustain it because that will be its own thing. And then Jade to you because, again, getting 7 wins at this stretch, you need these points now. And again, yeah, for 6 of your losses to come in overtime, you'll need these points. We're getting close to the American Thanksgiving sort of bar that, if you're in a playoff spot at this point, you'll be in a playoff spot, whatever sort of milestone. So, yeah, just your thoughts on the recent and by recent I mean last month of form, what stood out to you from that?
It feels crazy because it feels like they've been all over the place, but they've done okay. But it just feels like super up and down. I think the one that kills me the most though is that Sharks game. That was just I'm glad I was like you. I was for sure that when we hit that, it was going to be just a steady downward trajectory from there. And I'm glad that Lane said, nope, we're not doing that and got their shit together. And they've been doing okay. I'm not mad about, where sure not mad about where we are in the standings. Like, what the hell? After that last season, who would have thought this is where we would be right now? So I don't know. It's interesting how it feels all over the place, but they've been pretty steady. Like I don't know why to me it just feels like they've been so chaotic, but it's been pretty like even keel. So I don't know. It just my brain is like, no, they've been crazy, but they really haven't, other than the injuries and the Russian roulette of who's gonna be on the IR next. So I don't know. It's crazy. It doesn't feel real.
I it I this season has just kind of it feels like it's just thrown me for a loop over and over and over again. Like I feel like every time I'm like, okay, cool, like this is what to expect, then it's like, wow, this is the complete opposite from what I was expecting 48 hours ago when I watched them play last. And I don't know. It's felt like kind of a whirlwind. I know that they're about 25% of the way through the season right now. Every team is kind of at a different point because they've played different amounts of games, but like we're collectively at about the quarter way through mark, and everything just has felt like such a whirlwind that I can't even, I don't know, the last time we were recorded, those games don't even feel real at this point. That feels like it was like 2 seasons ago because it
Uh,
feels like that was so long ago, just in the way that the schedule has been set up and the like like the how condensed it's been, how much other stuff how much other stuff has been going on, like Kraken related, obviously other Seattle sports. Like there's just been so much going on that looking back to those games, it's like, okay, there's no way that that was technically less than a month ago.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's not real.
So I don't know. Yeah, this season has just been kind of kicking my ass, honestly, and I'm not on the ice.
Yet. Yeah, no, I think it's a good
Lisa.
point, like that they've been like obviously the season itself, but that they've been all over the place. Because yeah, I mean, they haven't exactly been blown out uh, a lot, right? There was, I mean, what you go back and look at it. There was the Flyers game, there was the Caps game that I
Oh
think
yeah.
kind of got away from them late, but the Flyers was the first real bad one. Um, oh, well, yeah, I guess the Caps scored the first three goals unanswered. Yeah, that back to back was really ugly. Um, and then it was the Sharks game. Yeah, everything else has been close. Like if we go let's do this, right? The losses. Um, one goal loss, one goal loss, three goal again. So yeah, first two losses, Montreal, Ottawa, overtime in the shootout. First two losses that aren't like that are that back to back, the Philly, Washington. Your next loss, again, overtime to Montreal, one goal, of course, one goal loss overtime to New York, have goal loss to San Jose, one goal loss in Dallas, the shootout loss to Columbus, which I don't want to talk about that one. Uh, and then a two-goal loss to Detroit, right? You see this, all of their losses outside of what is that, four of them are one-goal losses. You're getting the points. Like, I mean, this is what was talked about at the beginning of the year, right? Best case scenario for this Lane Lambert team, right? They're going to win the close games. You're going to be in it. Um, it's just if they can sustain it, which we will get to, I will. Give me a minute. Um, it's if they can sustain that and how real, like, can they keep pushing this hard uh into the later months of the season, right? We get into the last month. Are they going to be able to sustain? I mean, as mentioned, they've been banged up. I'll talk about the injuries in a second. Like, can you exert this much effort? Like Ryan Lindgren, well, the first one, Lindgren had a big block. He put his hand out
Oh.
in this game. Yeah, we'll see if that means anything. I'm sure if he could play with a club on, he would. Matty Beniers took a puck to the shin, I think, in the first period, blocking a shot. Like, it's good. I think at least when I checked earlier, around the time that we recorded the first episode, they were near the top of the league in blocked shots. Let me double check this now. Okay, they've fallen a bit. They're eighth. They're eighth in the league. The Bruins have shot up really high.
Hmm.
Huh. The Devils and the Canucks are there. There's always a Hughes involvement somewhere. Um,
National
you
Hughes.
know, I
Always the
wonder.
Hughes.
Um, that's a big thing, right? If they're able to push like that, you know, and who knows, and this I'll put this in there for when we talk about going forward. But if you're in, I'm not saying you're going to be able to maintain a fourth in the Western Conference pace. I would love that. I would just laugh maniacally if that became reality because sure, what the hell, or what the hell, sure, I got my meme incorrect. But at that point, you have draft picks, you have prospects. If you want to add at the deadline and jingle, sorry, someone's going to jingle a star in front of you, fuck it. You should go for it because you're gonna have capital next year, in terms of cap space. And like the big thing, and we're basically like neighbors with Emerald City Hockey at this point because of how much I reference RJ and Dylan, and they're on our shows all the time. Like, what are the biggest ways to get stars in this league? You either draft and develop them, and that usually requires you to be really close to the first overall pick in the draft, right? Uh, they rarely ever get to free agency. Tell me the last really big star to get to free agency. I thought it was going to be Mitch Marner, but then he got traded,
Mm.
right? Um, but that leads to the other thing is guys get traded. Unfortunately, I'm going to reference the Golden Knights twice with Mitch Marner and then with Jack Eichel, right? It's like you have to go big game hunting when the time strikes. Um, there have been a few guys who have been moved like that since the Kraken have come into the league. Um, they haven't swung on any of them. Whether that's a good idea or not is a different discussion. But I just think that at least for me, at this current point, and I'm going against what I said about looking at the future and that this is sustainable, but I'm in a, I feel better about this group now than I did last episode and at the beginning of the season. Because I didn't know. I was like, hey, you're giving me a group that's underperformed the last two seasons and getting older, and asking me, hey, do you think they can do high effort, high intensity hockey? I would have told you no. They said, fuck you, Baldy, you're wrong. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Lane said
Which,
we're gonna be intense and we're gonna have all the effort, I guess, because
and he's gonna talk like this into the microphone and really intensely. Scary.
yeah, but a little softer. He's not
Yeah, he talks really quietly. It's hard to
he's
hear
not
his
It
I'm like,
doesn't
voice.
can
work.
you
I
speak?
can't speak that quiet. You know me. I'm very loud. I'm very
Can you
demonstrative.
tell him that? Make him be loud. He has a microphone and I'm like, what did he say? Jade,
I'll
what's he
never
say?
forget. Like, he's scary. Like, what was it? God bless. There's a new guy in the press
Man.
corps who asked him about the starting goalie, and he goes, "Sorry, I have to do. You don't want to ask me that." And I was like,
I
"I'm
would have
going
left.
to shoot
Like,
myself."
you know what? You're right. See you later, sir.
But
Make sure
then
you
the
tell me.
problem was he gets up to leave, and he goes, "You could ask me that," and I'm like, "Shut up."
I think that's what I like about him. He pretend not, I don't he might be serious, I don't know. But he like puts on this like I'm a serious, grumpy old guy, and then he's like, haha, just gotcha, and then he walks away. And I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
You know what he's like in that regard? He's like if you took Lane. I almost said Lane Lambert. He's like, if you took Dave Hackstall and
Yes.
Van Bilesma and you got parts of both of them,
Hmm.
it was the Goldilocks for the Kraken poaching hire. They just needed to get in the middle there, just right. So I don't know. That was another thing with Lane. I didn't know if it was going to work out with him.
Yeah. I for
Obviously, this
sure
is
had
year
my
one,
reservations. Yeah.
right? But even something that I think I said it on record here that I was told from some people in the organization that they don't expect him to win the cup in year one, and they want him to be able to build something out here in Seattle, like have a runway. They also expect results. And I'm like, well, that's kind of hard to do a little bit of both. Doing it right now. So,
Found a way.
before we get into talking about feeling about the team and moving forward, we have to update the injuries because it's becoming a regular segment at this point. Um,
This team will not let Capo Caco stay healthy. That's all I got. Jared McCann
he
is locked away somewhere, hasn't been seen in days.
He's
we'll
in a
start with
tower.
we'll start with Jared McCann. I think actually I looked at this. I think if I'm getting this right, um, pardon my knuckles. He got placed on IR right after we recorded this episode, the last episode.
And hasn't been seen since.
Exactly.
3 days
He
after that,
did.
he was placed on injured reserve with a lower body injury.
Wasn't he just at practice the other day?
He practiced a few times. I remember when I was at the morning skate for the Sharks game, the last Sharks game, he was on the ice. I did see him with my own two eyes. I promise. For
He
those who are
exists.
only listening, I'm putting my big brown eyes in front of the camera. Um, but the problem is, and I've been there to ask. I said, hey, when we didn't see him on the ice, what's his status? He's day to day. Um, he he's been day to day for now several weeks.
A
So
lot of
just tell
day.
me he's week to week. For a while after he was placed on IR, we didn't see him. Like I'm gonna tell these stories, okay, from the locker room. There are these days, sorry, not nights. I'm not there at night. That would be really weird. If I was in the locker room at night. Um, you go to the practice of the morning skates and the injured guy, the guys on IR, they might not obviously be on the ice, or if they get the really early work, they might. But you'll usually see them coming in and out of the locker room because they'll be doing, physical therapy, rehab, working out. Maybe they just want to use the hot tub, whatever. Like I seen Freddie Goudreau when he was on IR. I would see him out in his big mustache, Um, I would see that, but never saw Jared McCann. Never. And Al Kaniski, who's on the Kraken Audio Network on the radio side of things, he shared a story. He said, you go into I'm going to use my hand, but I'm also going to speak it out for the people who are listening on the podcast side of things. In the, no, okay, I guess I'm drawing on myself. In the locker room, right, there's this straight hallway here, okay? Here's the entrance right in the middle of this line. So if you're listening, you imagine the line. Right to the inside left is this cubby where we talk to the players or Lambert at practice. Miracle and Jade will know the cubby I'm talking about. Then if you keep going straight instead of taking a left, there's the stick cubby right there
Stick
to the
holders.
left. And stick holders. If you keep going further, it's straight to the Kraken locker room. Um, but yeah, there's the stick area. And Al said after every practice, when McCann was injured, he would go by and touch the blade of McCann's stick to see if it was wet, if he had been on the ice, bone dry, every single time. So it was like, where is this guy? What is happening? Proof of life. The only proof of life that we had for the longest period of time was him at the Adam Sandler themed party that they had. That was it. Was him in that dumbass costume, right? Um,
Al touching the blade of the stick and then you being like, and there's just no proof of life. It was giving like true crime story that you would watch like in the middle of the night out of nowhere.
and then we saw him in an Adam Sandler costume. Like, I mean, honestly, that's the problem is like they were asking, what's the update on McCann? I'm like, I just asked yesterday. They said day to day. I can't ask every day. You
Sure
gotta
you
have some
can.
truth.
Is
Um,
today the day?
So yeah, the but this last homestand, he was on the ice, but the other thing was though he wasn't in a non-contact jersey, right?
Right.
So it's really weird, because this is arguably your team's best scorer, right? Your best goal scorer at least. A guy that, is in 2 years going to be a free agent, who was the first guy to re-up, on a long-term contract with you. Um, someone that's really beloved by fans, and it just seems like, yeah, the joke I've been running with is they locked him in a closet in CPA and they've left him there. Um, from what I remember is that he was on the road trip. Um, I thought I remember when I was listening to the broadcast the other day that he was on the road trip. But so I don't know. In the roster move today to bring up yesterday, sorry, Oscar Fisker Molgard, who played in his NHL debut tonight. Good for the children. Um,
Should have had a goal.
Hmm.
oh yeah. I was very ready to type that out, but I didn't get to.
I was so excited, and then I was so disappointed.
So it was very, yeah.
It was
With
such
his
is
Um,
Kraken
second goal
hockey,
too. I was
though.
like, yeah, oh, okay. Well,
but that, they move Molgard centers the fourth line. Freddie Gaudreau moves up to the third line. Berkly Catton bumps out to wing, and Yanni Newman gets scratched. That if Jared was healthy, I don't imagine they'd be playing around like that. But I don't know. It's difficult. I have to imagine, and I'm speculating. I don't have anything source wise. Sources. Um, I have to imagine it's something that is maybe worse than they initially thought, or it's unfortunately something he's going to have to deal with for the rest of the year, which is really rough, right? Because in exit interviews last year, he talked about a physical thing he had to get a treatment on. He said, I'm not going to tell you what it is. Got that, had to lose a bunch of time in the offseason recovering from that, missed time in training camp, you know, scored what goals in his first 3 games or whatever to begin the season, and then has been out since. That's rough. Um, so that's the Jared McCann saga. Did I forget anything from that?
I don't think so.
Okay, we'll get to Matt Murray. Uh, what Matt's had 3 games on the season, 3 full games. Would have been the yeah. I don't know. I know he had the Dallas game. And the well, I can just look this up. I don't know why I don't
I'm
just look
looking it
this
up right now.
up. Okay.
Um, it took me a second to remember that I have a phone in my hand and I can look things up. So he's had 5 games played,
Oh, oops.
and 4 of those he started. One he came in as relief, and that was November 5th. Nope. That it says that he didn't start that game, but that was against San Jose. Yeah,
Oh,
during that game, right?
I think because Joey got shelled.
Yeah,
mhm.
and then the most recent one he left early,
Yeah.
which
Okay.
was
Yeah.
also
Because
against San Jose. So
uh,
I don't think we should play Matt against San Jose anymore.
no.
or Joey
Um.
or Grubauer actually leave the
What if
net
we
empty.
what if we just don't play San Jose anymore? Because
Yay!
we always lose horrifically to them. Or it's some crazy shit happens. Like it's
Mhm.
never a normal game when we're playing the Sharks.
Yeah.
And I love the Sharks. They're a fun team to watch, but like maybe we just don't.
Lost. His first game of the season to the Caps. Came in relief in the first Sharks game. I remember that because it was the all black third jerseys and the first goal. First. Oh nope. Actually. Uh. Timeout. Timeout. Everybody. Timeout. Go back to Jared McCann, my
No,
friend Milo, friend of the pod, Milo. Milo, if
Milo.
you're listening,
I
hello.
love Milo.
Jared McCann was seen in the background of the helmet video tonight.
Milo would spot that.
Proof of life.
I'm not
He's sitting
surprised that
there.
Milo spotted that.
He's sitting there in the back with his hat backwards. and a jacket on. And he looks for a youth pastry out on a night out. Yep. Okay. Proof of life. He is on the road trip. I told you.
He
Told you.
exists. They let him out of his tower.
He's not a figment of my imagination. I promise Jared McCann is real. Um, yeah, the San Jose game, the Dallas game, the CBJ, the Flu Jackets in that game. 971 save percentage. Oh, he played so well.
I
Yeah, he was
know.
start of that Sharks game. So, he's out 6 weeks. Is that correct? 6 weeks
I think
with a
so,
lower
yeah.
body injury. We don't know for sure, but as all three of us were kind of discussing before things got underway, he had had both of his hips replaced, or he's had surgery on both of
It
his
was a
hips.
double hip surgery. I just can't remember the
Like,
exact specifics for it.
yeah, out 6 weeks
It
of
was a
lower body
reconstruction.
injury. It's not good, man. I
No,
mean, it's
he missed
unfortunate.
the whole season with the Marlies. He was out the whole year.
It's really tough. I mean, Jade was around. I'm still working on a feature with Matt, which is fortunate now because he gets to come out when he's hurt. Um, you know, great guy. As anybody heard on this podcast, I was a little unsure of Matt Murray. I thought he looked kind of old and slow in training camp. Didn't look old or slow in the games he got in. Maybe just needed to get back up to speed, right? It is training camp. Um, Great guy. Great guy. Says, what sold me, and Jade will remember this. He's talking about like driving into the area and seeing Mount Rainier on days where it's clear and how much he loved that. As like this guy gets it. He gets
And then
it.
he showed up looking like he's lived in the Pacific Northwest
He
his
showed
entire
up
life.
like that,
Yeah, I
which
told him you're very PNW.
which by the way, he said he has no idea that anybody on the internet knows or thinks about like what he wears. He says that
Very
because he's
endearing.
got what, two kids and a puppy at home, and
Hmm.
there's so much chaos in his house that the most like consistency that he can get is the rotation of like 3 to 4 pants and 2 to 3 jackets that he's got. Uh yeah, Matt's great. Matt's great. I feel bad because I kept going to the locker room and he kept trying to talk to me because of my big oh, it's not in here. My big Wrangler jacket that I have on that makes me look like I work on the shipyard. That's like similar to what Matt wears. He's like, "Oh, nice jacket, eh?" And he said that like twice on two separate occasions while I'm just kind of meandering in the locker room. And he's like, "You should get a Carhartt jacket." I said, "Matt, I can't afford Carhartt." He goes, "What? Like it's supposed to be expensive?" And I just walked away. Uh,
Are they supposed to be expensive? Okay, sir.
I'm like, brother, you want to throw me some money for the Carhartt? Like, I can tell you my size if you want to get it. Do you have one I can borrow? Fucker. No, he's great. Uh, I am on the Matt Murray train. And yeah, Capo Caco. I mean, fuck. You know,
Tell us
dealt
how you
with
really feel.
That's how
the
I fucking
broken,
feel.
dealt with. Hey, Jade said the bad word earlier, so we're on bad word train now.
Yep.
Choo choo.
But he broke his hand and it's lower body on Capo, right? Um,
I think so.
Hold on.
Is it? Yeah.
Left the game with a lower body injury, was placed on injured reserve right after. The morning of that announcement, because Freddie Goudreau was brought back off of injured reserve. The same move, excuse me, was that Lane Lambert said he's week to week. Um, it's not
So
great.
really, we
So
won't
really,
see him again until like March.
end
He's
of the
gonna be the
season,
next Jared McCann.
playoff push.
He's locked in the closet with Canner.
Good for them.
Is there enough room? It was pretty big. Like he's a big Finn.
He's a very
Uh,
tall man, yes.
Yeah, so we don't, unlike Murray, we don't have quite the
Murdog.
clear
Hate that.
Murdoch.
Murray.
I hate it
We don't
so
That's
have
what I
much.
call him.
quite the clear idea when we'll get Capo back. So we're down to at least games like tonight, we're down to one Finn because they're scratching Newman, which I don't mind. I It's tough with him. Anyway, let's get
Dangerously low
to
credential numbers, though. That's
I think they
yeah,
should
well,
trade for more Finns immediately.
when hey, I mean, if they want to send us Mikko Rantanen, that's fine. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, our
Uh,
Finn to ice ratio is lacking now that Kako is gone and
Dallas
he
has enough of
is
them.
They
stuck
can care.
in the press box.
Dallas has a monopoly on the Finns. They don't. They're like, no, 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 we're good. You guys are on
Hey,
your own.
if they want to slap a Finnish flag on Jason Robertson and send him to us, that is okay. Let's get to how you're feeling about this team going forward, the state of it, because I kind of went into it on myself and I've been talking too much. I think Miracle got bored. Um, I was talking too much. Um, how do you feel about this team with how they've performed to this point? Can they sustain it? Does it make you feel any better or worse about them going forward? Because people feel a lot of things during an 82 game season, right? There's a lot of feelings about the organization, the future, decisions in the past, right? And as I yapped about earlier, just I do feel better, um, with where they're at, with where Lane Lambert where has them at. There's a few fans who call themselves Laniacs.
I
Uh,
love that, by the way. I think that's so good.
I have not
so
seen that, but that's iconic.
I haven't either, but I love that.
it
Laniacs.
was his birthday the other day, by the way. He's the spry age of 61.
Are you kidding me?
Young spring chicken.
Do
He
I
does
look
not
like
look
I'm
like he's
kidding?
61.
He does not.
Lane, Lane. I almost typed Ann Lambert. That's not right. Yep, 61.
Wow. I wonder what his skincare routine is.
Please ask him.
Lane, what's your skincare routine?
Hey, coach.
That'll go over
You
really well.
don't want
What
to ask
moisturizer do
me
you
that.
use?
So,
Are you more of a Cetaphil or
uh,
a CeraVe girly?
oh, I don't have it in here. Damn it. Yeah, since Miracle, I decided to throw that stray shot at you. Um, yeah, how do you feel about this group right now? If they can sustain this sort of thing, going forward kind of feelings, does it make you feel any better or worse about the trajectory of the franchise going forward? And then obviously it's to Jade up there, and hopefully Maverick doesn't come and jump on you during this.
I don't even know where that guy is right now, so
He's chilling. Can they sustain it? I don't know. Every time I'm like, yeah, sure, I think we're doing good. It does a 180. So I honestly don't know what to expect from these men anymore, except the unexpected this season, because it's always, I don't know. Like just when I think I get a feel for it, they're like, hey, by the way, we're gonna lose 6-1 or whatever the fuck that Sharks game was. So I'm like, you know what? Whatever, you do you, guys. Um, I feel much more hopeful than I did like at the beginning of the season to now. I think Lane's got their number and he knows how to get like when those games happen and we lose horrifically, he knows how to get their shit back together. Like, nope, that we're not going to do that. It's not our game. That's not what we're about. And whatever he says to them seems to like snap them out of it because they bounce back pretty quick. So I feel good about where we are and I feel kind of okay about them moving forward. I still don't think it's going to be like a blowout season, but I think they're having a great season so far. I think we're gonna keep going that direction. I hope it doesn't drop off, but as of now, I'm good with what we've done so far. Like, obviously you want all the points. You want more points. I'm what fucking third? Is that where we are? Third in the division? Fourth? Second. See, they're better than I thought they were. Like, I did not have that in mind at all for this team this year. So I mean, we'll see. But again, I have no clue what the fuck to expect with them anymore. With this season, I've given up trying to predict because every time I think I have it figured out, they're like, watch this. And then three people get injured and we win a game. And I'm like, okay, cool.
I also like I feel like so often I can predict like kind of, what I'm feeling, what I think is going to happen. And this year it's been really hard to kind of predict, but I do worry. Like everything kind of has felt like fleeting. Like there's really, really good moments and then there's like really, really bad moments where it's like, okay, did you all forget how to fucking play hockey? Does nobody know what they're doing? Like, do we need to really, really, really go back to basics? And I've talked about that a few times in recaps and like my takeaways and stuff. That sometimes it just feels like they're trying to do too much. They're trying to be too flashy, and that just isn't sustainable, really, with a team like they have right now, where there's no superstars, there's no like super great power, whatever. Um, and it kind of feels like it's been hard to pinpoint like exactly what, in my personal opinion, the biggest problems are. But I think that what they're gonna do now, uh, or what they're doing now could end up in like more of like a bubble situation when they get closer to the trade deadline, which is then leading up to the playoffs. And I know that like American Thanksgiving is kind of a turning point in the entire season. I think Charles said something about that earlier. Um, but I feel like as kind of the season drags on, as the days go on, like it seems like I'm always like, oh wow, I'm going to be so quick with what I'm saying, and then I find 15 other things to talk about. Um, but I also feel like so far, despite the schedule being kind of condensed, it's been like easy isn't quite the right word, but like it's been a little bit more of evenly matched teams. There hasn't been, they haven't played like the Florida Panthers, for example, which I know that half that team is
Bender.
exploded currently. Um, but like they haven't played some of the bigger, better teams that have been historically good compared to the Kraken. And I feel like that's kind of going to be the real like test, if that makes sense, where it's going to be like, okay, you've been playing these other mediocre teams. What's going to happen from here? So I'm interested to see what happens, but I do not feel super, super confident that their current style of play and the way that they're winning and then losing and then winning and then losing is going to be sustainable throughout the rest of the season, unless they can take every single game to overtime
It's
and
working
then
for
go with
Philadelphia.
them.
I think it's
It has, unfortunately.
I don't know how, but it's working for Philly. Like good for
Yeah.
them.
it's a fair point to wonder about that, right? Because it's one thing to out effort somebody in the first 3 months of the season, right? But when teams kind of flip the switch in the last 2 months and they know they need to make that push, like who knows when Edmonton wakes up? Um, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, if Toronto figures it out, or you just shake Josh Mahura at them and they get scared again because Josh Mahura. You see what I mean, though? There will be teams who play that playoff style of hockey when it's actually close to the playoffs. If you're a team like Vegas or Edmonton, do you want to play that way in October, November? Maybe not necessarily, right? Like I think that's a valid point and or question to bring up. Are you going to be able to sustain it? Will you be able to keep doing that throughout the rest of the year? But just I don't know. It's interesting, at least in terms of figuring out for the rest of the year, at least going forward. Yeah, with Lane, like this structure feels like something that you can replicate, something you can keep doing. Because even if they do somehow get a big fish this upcoming year, in free agency this next offseason or via trade, getting one star doesn't automatically make you, a top contending team. I think you'll still have to rely on that sort of system for the next year or two, um, until maybe some of your younger guys like Shane or Berkly make that jump. Berkly, who I want to talk about next. Um, he is past the 9 game sort of threshold for the ELC. That first year's been burned. People were kind of wondering if that would be a thing. I guess he told Sound of Hockey on their podcast that Chandler Stevenson is like adopting him. Not really. He's going to move in with the Stevenson family. I think Stevie said after this road trip, they're going to get that figured out. Um, I don't know. I just want to bring that to the table and get thoughts on Berkeley in these games because I think the big question for me in the offseason, right? And I think we talked about it a few times on this show was are you able to handle the physicality of this league? You've been playing a bunch of other children in the WHL. That's fine. That's great. That's cool. Can you handle these grown men? That sounds bad. Can you do that on a night to night basis in this league? Uh, I don't think there's been a game where I looked at him and said, "You look overmatched. You need sit this one out." So I think the big thing, people are like, well, what's the plan now? I think the big thing is the 40 team games, because then once you hit 40 team games, you start to accrue time towards free agency and service time. Uh, and that's probably more what the Kraken are looking towards. You know, he still has World Juniors in Team Canada. I would be shocked if he didn't go to that. I'm pretty sure he'll be there. And they still have the AHL conditioning stint thing, I think, in their back pocket to say, hey, go play with Coachella Valley for a little bit. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Um, you know, yeah, I don't think he's ever looked overwhelmed. I think he got another point tonight. I could be wrong. Um, hey, it's too early to decide if he's going to be like 100-point player or not, but he hasn't looked overwhelmed and he's picking up points somewhat steadily. So it's kind of all I need from you. Yeah, I got an assist.
Yeah, I did.
All I need from you right now. Um, Either of you, any thought on Berkely and what we've seen from him so far this year?
Pretty similar to what you said, where I haven't had like the like the big concern about like you look overmatched, you look overwhelmed, you look like you're not able to hold your own against the other guys in the league. And I've been pretty impressed with him so far. I do worry about like kind of overdoing it, potentially screwing up his development, but I also know that Seattle is one of the better franchises as far as development goes for young guys like that. Um, and I am super excited to watch him in World Juniors. That's all I got.
Yeah, I have no, I mean, like you guys said, he's fitting right in. Like if you had told me that he had just come up, I probably wouldn't have believed you if I didn't know it already because he fits. There's nothing that I've seen that I've been like, oh, maybe we should give him some time. But I think he's fitting in just fine, and he seems to really gel with a lot where he was. I mean, he did good tonight too on that on the where they moving the wing. He was fine on the
Yep,
whatever.
back to the wing.
He was
Yeah.
fine back on the wing too. So like, I mean, I haven't seen anything that I'm like, oh my God, red flag. Pause.
I've seen a handful of people get concerned about him and feeling like there was that hit again. Well, I think it was when they played against the Red Wings. I don't know. I had that game on in the background, not paying much attention, but there was a hit on him, and there were people like freaking out that he was going to get injured, and he's just playing against guys that aren't like he's too small to play against these guys. And I don't know. That's just hockey, unfortunately. Like
He's gonna have that his whole career because he's gonna
yeah,
be on the smaller side. That's just how
yeah,
he is as a person. So he's gonna have to find ways to play through that.
yep. And so that's my only. I don't know. That's, I guess my only concern is like if he takes a hit from a too big of a guy, a Tom Wilson, for example, like just a fucking gigantic man, like a Matt Rempe, even like just a guy that does not, I know, I kind of miss him, just a guy that doesn't give a shit and just is gonna barrel through him. Like, okay, then maybe there's a little bit of concern, but also he's done so good at holding his own that I don't have the same concerns that I'm seeing a lot of people have because I feel like he looked really good in Spokane last season. He could go back to Spokane and be one of the top WHL scorers again. That's not going to do what he needs for his development, in
I
my
think
opinion.
he knows he's always known that he's on the smaller side, so that's something that he needs to be aware of. So I think that helps him. Like he's
Mhm.
going into the NHL, he knew like, okay, well, I'm not exactly, you know, 6'5" big guy. I need to be aware these dudes are gonna clobber me or like and find a way to combat that. So I think it helps that he already knew that and didn't come into it like, no, I'll be fine. Like he already had that in his mind and was doing work to be ready for that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd rather him up here, going through these lived experiences at the NHL level and learning from, guys at the NHL level than, yeah, I'm gonna go and dunk on these children for at the WHL level. Yeah, before we close it out here and look ahead, we'll go less serious. kind of still on the ice, but not quite player wise. We've seen the third jerseys on the ice a few times now. Any thought on how they look in game, the presentation around all that? Um, I don't know. I think it's cool to see the black jerseys on the ice. I know that there were some comments uh, that the jersey numbers were hard to see
That was
for
my like
people on
Yep.
TV or at the game. I think it's tough because you need to really charge up the glow in the dark shit. And someone pointed out if you're gonna do the pregame show, you should have the UV lights or whatever. Which they did the second game, and it was funny because you saw these people with like white or green shirts light up in the crowd. I'm
yeah.
like, I don't think you planned on lighting up. Maybe you did. Yeah, I don't know. You've seen them twice. I'm excited to see. I like they look great in the photos that our folks got. I think Bryant got some the first time they wore them and second time against San Jose when they got their ass kicked. Eric got photos of them. I think they look cool in that regard because, like I talked about, I think with RJ when we found out about him, Seattle really hasn't had a blackout jersey in sports. Really, it's kind of rare. There are a few instances, but yeah, I mean, in these photos from the San Jose game, they look cool. They were getting blown out, but they look cool. Um,
All that matters.
well, that what was that? That was like part of the social admin bit in year one. It was like we lost today, but look, our jerseys are cool. Yeah. Any thoughts on the thirds after seeing them for two games?
I like them. I still like them. I hate that you can't read the fucking numbers on the back. That's my biggest, especially being up so high, like where we are, where we sit. I'm like, who was that? What number? You can see like half a number, and you're like, was that 52? 50? Was it five? Who the hell was that? Like,
Who
I
are
think
these men?
if they had filled in the numbers instead of just doing the outline, I think it would have been
Mm.
much better. But I like them. I like the whole thing around them. I like that they use the tentacle and the half of the S for their entrance for that. Like, I think it's cool. But I always was kind of like, yeah, they're great, whatever. I never really had a big. I do think people are damning them too soon because people are like, oh, we've lost in both of them. They're cursed.
Oh,
It's it's too soon. Give them time. It's not the. I'm with you. I understand it, but it's too soon. Give them some more time to see how it plays
The
out.
fact that you brought that up is cracking me up because above, oh God,
Yes.
lost my microphone. Above my Climate Pledge poster is the retro.
That's what I like. It's not the retros yet. Give it
Yeah.
time. Like,
oh
Um,
no, I do have them in here.
oh boy,
so while Charles is doing that, I loathe entirely the numbers.
it's bad.
Same reason that you said I have really bad eyesight. I can't see anything almost ever. I have like other signs in my room across from where I am. I can't read them. I'm supposed to wear glasses and I don't. So like maybe that's kind of a me problem, but even you guys with your glasses can't read them. So I
No.
don't know.
And there are people that are ice level that can't read them. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
then it's not just us. Like,
Yeah, it's not just me and my refusal to wear glasses, but so I really don't like that and I even like going back and watching highlights from those games when I've been like, getting home trying to write something about whatever game. I feel like when I'm watching them, I still can't quite see the numbers on my TV and like I can stand right in front of my TV. It doesn't help that I can't tell if it's 51 or 55.
that the 51, 55. I'm like, is that fucking Shane or is it Lindgren? Who is
Yeah.
that? And I'm like, I should be able to tell, but
Yep.
you can't.
Aside from that, they're growing on me a little bit. They're still just not my favorite jersey, but they're better than I expected, and I really love a blackout jersey. I've always been critical of them, and I'm going to continue to be critical of them, and I don't like the numbers. But they're better. I think that they're photographing really well, like Charles said. Like the
They look
pictures
great.
that Brian and Eric got were phenomenal. The photos that I've seen, like even Kraken socials post, have all been really good, and so like they're photographing really well, which I really enjoy. But yeah, that's my biggest beef with them is not being able to read them.
The damn numbers, man.
Damn numbers, man. Me next time I can't do math properly. Um, yeah, I think the numbers thing's a valid request, and that'll be interesting to see if they maybe tweak that as the years go on. Um, but yes, I agree. I think it's 2 games is way too quick. I think it's a very knee-jerk reaction to be like, "Hey, you need to burn them." I'm like, let's calm down a little bit,
Two games.
okay? Like they they always play really weird games against San Jose, and they went to overtime against the Rangers, and the Rangers aren't exactly bad. Even though
Well,
eh, they struggled. I don't think the results
On
are
the
super
road.
fair to them.
They're not bad on the road.
yeah.
Well, yes, and they played them here in Seattle. So,
Yes.
oh, they got their shit pushed in against the Avalanche tonight. Um,
The Rangers did?
oh, that's right. Yes, Nathan McKinnon got me fantasy points. Thanks, Nate. Freak. Um,
Uh,
that's what I got for this episode. Anything Kraken related to mention before we get out of here? The only thing I will opt to bring up before we look at the schedule for uh, the upcoming few days. Um, oh, I totally lost my train of thought. That's great. Um, is on excuse me, Saturday, the 22nd, in a few days here. We're hosting our first ever food drive. Last year for the holidays, we did our first ever toy drive. Um, it is Sunday, November 22nd, 3 o'clock Pacific
Saturday.
time. Oh, I said Sunday. Whoops.
Yeah.
Saturday, at the 32 Bar and Grill at the Kraken Community Iceplex. It's a watch party and food drive. Bring a non-perishable food item. We'll be donating to Mary's Place. We've got some sports memorabilia to give away. Think we decided we're gonna do one item, like one like ticket per person. Um, there are options to donate virtually if you can't come in person or if you're, not in the area. I realize that's a thing. It's all on our social media. It's in our pinned on social media, whether it's on Twitter, Blue Sky, Facebook, if you're on Facebook, Threads on our Instagram. It is quite literally are pinned on everything. Um, so that you can see it. It'll hit you right in the face when you see it. Jade made the graphic for it. Got this nice blue. I love a light blue, but it's pinned on everything. Given the state of the country, how things have been going with Snap, uh, obviously food isn't a guarantee for anybody. So we're trying to do what we can to kind of spur community here in the Seattle sports region, get people out for that. I know some folks who have already bought food for it. I know Alberto, the company my parents work for, is already donating a lot um, for Saturday. So yeah, there's a lot of details for that. So that's great. Jade, Mike, Caitlin, Alicia, all who are part of our community team here at Circling Seattle Sports, have done a great job getting that set up. I am just the guy who posts the graphic and the information. So, um, there is that. There's also more information for those who were affected by the government shutdown, which I believe that's no longer applicable, but there's resources that can help you if you're affected by that sort of thing, and as well as the information for how to donate virtually. If you can't donate in person, you don't have to stay the whole time. You're more than welcome to come and, stop by. We'll have, I guess, half of an eye on the game as the Kraken play the Pittsburgh Penguins later that day. So that's it. That's all I got for you. Yeah, that next game is actually the Pittsburgh game. Next game, Saturday the 22nd. I won't say Sunday again. 4 p.m. Pacific time on the Kraken Hockey Network / Amazon Prime Video. And Kong, if you're watching locally, I would recommend if you can, you come to the 30 Bar and Grill and bring a food item for our food drive. And then the next day they play the New York Islanders at 2 o'clock Pacific time, Kraken Hockey Network / Prime Video, Kong, for 2 days of non-game work, and they start a new homestand against the Dallas Stars. Not a complete homestand because they play 2 games at home, 1 game in Edmonton, and then come back and play 3 more games at home. You could go further. They play 1 game in Utah and then come back and play 2 more games at home. I don't know who made this shit, dog, and not me.
I want to
Um,
be. I want to talk to the scheduler. Like, I just want to ask
Same.
questions. Like, first of all, why?
I have so many questions.
Second of all, who hurt you, and why do you hate
uh,
so many different teams? Because some of these
Yeah.
schedules are effed. Like these people, you can tell they hate certain teams. And I'm like, damn, you really don't like us very much, do you?
The Blue Jackets did a whole West Coast road trip and then went back home and I think to like New York or they did something and then back to Winnipeg for one night. And I was like, what the fuck is the point here? What are you doing?
The
So,
Oilers had like a fucking, I was like 12 or something game road trip, and I'm like,
yeah,
why? Why?
it's
That's
insane.
that's
Whatever's
not
going on this year
necessary.
is insane. Yippee Olympics.
Yay. They better be fun to watch after all this bullshit.
well, as long as they get to play them, is the
That's
stadium
true.
ready?
Yeah, with the whole ice thing. The ice is melting.
We need Joey. He could have told him.
Well, until we see, I don't know when we'll have to figure out when we'll do the next episode because I mean we could do another episode at the start of the week like we tended to do, but then we would only have 2 games to look at and it would be a really short episode. So we could do that. We'll see. Maybe they'll find Jared McCann again. They'll release him outside of the screenshots that Milo's got. Milo mentioned 2 times on the show.
We
Let's
should
go.
start counting.
If I had nothing to do, I would go back and see how many times we've referenced Milo. And every time we've referenced Milo, I would put a little counter in the bottom corner.
We should have
It'd
a
be like
Milo chart.
Milo reference number 15 of the
I
year.
bet Milo knows how many times.
We referenced them.
Yeah.
They know a lot of things.
They do.
Yeah.
So we see you next time, guys. Take care of yourselves. Be well. Do whatever you can to make today a great day. We promise we will not wait another month to do an episode.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Jen.
Hey. Where are you going to watch all those Kraken away games?
Kraken away games, making a push. I was thinking of coming here just because Rough and Tumble is the home of circling Seattle sports, only if that's okay with you.
I mean, I love that idea. Hope to see you here.